So what's up, people? I hope you are doing very well. Today we have another article for you. Let me just fix something real quick and then we'll just get going, hit the road running quickly. Oops, wrong way. Actually, the right way. It's the right way. Okay, let's get into it. So software development in 2026, curing the AI party hangover. Interesting title by Ryan Dawes, senior editor at TechForge Media, with a decade of experience, blah, blah, blah. Okay, in 2026, generative AI stops being an experiment for software development. Stops being an experiment for software development and starts being an architectural liability. The initial rush to apply AI everywhere is hardening into a struggle with execution, where the primary hurdles are no longer capability but control, cost, and security. We are already seeing the cracks in the code integrity as AI-assisted development becomes standard. The volume of code produced is outpacing human capacity to audit it. This vibe coding prioritizes speed over structural soundness, creating a new category of technical debt. AI slope code. That's what we have here. This part. It's not technical debt, it's just AI slope code. Let's just code it what it is. It's AI slope code. So this vibe coding, if you ever try to generate some code with ChatGPT or some other model, most likely you've gotten a shit ton of code. The amount of lines of code you get in the end is so long that if you have somebody who knows what they're doing, they could reduce it to like I don't know, maybe like 50% of the code is could be done without. I've seen some good models like Claude. Claude is very good at code, no pun intended, code. But like the others are a bit lacking, even it to some extent. In some cases, it's not as good as I would like it to be, or I would expect it to be. So this, like having a bunch of line of code, is more appreciated than having a good amount of code that does what it's supposed to do, because then these AI companies can just brag about it that we've written so many such and such so many lines of code this year were written by AI, and then just have bragging rights, but like, it doesn't mean you wrote the good things that were supposed to be written, or like you wrote it the proper way. Sean Cooney, CPTO, I don't know what that means. What is CPTO? What does that as a title mean? CPTO, Chief Product and Technology Officer. Oh, good to know. At Promon puts a number on the danger by 2027 as much as 30% of new security exposures may stem from vibe-coded logic. That's true. I can't say I don't agree with that statement. Cooney warns that this rapid production model degrades established quality checks. The rapid development model enabled by AI-generated code often bypasses traditional guardrails such as manual review, static analysis, and structured quality assurance. That's true, because if you're vibe coding, that's the main advantage of vibe coding. Vibe coding is supposed to remove all those things from the equation so that we just code with natural language. That's the whole point. Like the end goal of vibe coding is to have that. So are we surprised that these quality checks that we used to do, or we still do as traditional developers, that they go out of the way with vibe coding? No, I'm not surprised. The result is a widening competence gap. Teams without artisan skills to audit machine-generated logic will find themselves vulnerable to flaws buried deep in binary structures. That's true, because if you don't know what the AI just pews out and you just take it as gospel, at some point you're gonna shoot yourself in the foot. Let's just get it clear. The opacity extends to the software supply chain. Martin Reynolds, field CTO at Harness, points out that AI tools often obscure the origin of the code they suggest. AI-generated code also typically lacks clear provenance. Developers can't trace where the suggestions originated or whether they incorporate licensed code or vulnerable components. They can't, because if they did that, then they will be in trouble. The AI companies are going to be in trouble, so better not to mention it. I think maybe there's a possibility they might be able to get that, to have that information, but I don't think these AI companies will do it anyway, so kind of pointless to mention that. Because these tools train on historical repositories, they often lack awareness of real-time vulnerabilities. Consequently, they will happily draw from vulnerable libraries, making it nearly impossible for teams to identify if their software is affected by new exploits. Infrastructure goes agentic. While code generation accelerates, the runtime environment is fracturing into active agents. We are leaving behind monolithic models for composable architectures that don't just answer questions, they execute workflows. Paul Aubrey, director of product management at NetApp Instacluster. Do you guys like this stylized company names? I mean, Instacluster with a R. Interesting name. Suggests that monolithic models will be replaced by a mesh of smaller interacting components. The rise of Model Context Protocol MCP and agentic workframes will turn AI into a composable ecosystem of reusable, discoverable microagents. This is the general direction everything has been going ever since MCP was introduced. I think by who introduced MCP? I think it's the Anthropic, I think. Is this setup well defined? In this setup, well-defined processes are encoded and activated by agents, allowing organizations to deploy fleets of models for specialized tasks. But this introduces an observability nightmare. Software development teams will need full transparency into these autonomous interactions, requiring end-to-end traces detailing every step to understand how final answers were stitched together by AI. So, I mean, we're just going around the issue. The issue is we have to write code, and code has to be quality code. Maybe if it's just if you're throwing together some personal website, I see this as, it's okay. I mean, you don't need to have that level of control, but if you're building a web app that actually does something that people are going to rely on, and you're using this, I mean, it doesn't take a genius to see that it's not a solid foundation for you to build on in the first place. So whatever happens, I don't think this works, in my opinion. And if you also have to go, if your developers essentially become people who just who just audit the AI, when they can code, couldn't they use that time to just figure out how to code the thing better than use the time to audit whether or not what the AI found solutions are actually the best solution or the secure solutions? Couldn't that time be used for the other thing? I mean, I don't know the economics of it, but to me at this point in time, I think it's kind of stupid. It doesn't make sense. Ratan Tiperneni, I don't know, kind of name. I'm sorry if this is your name. CEO at Tigera, I don't know how you pronounce that. Tigera forecasts a specific impact on Kubernetes environments. In 2026, the emphasis in Kubernetes environments will shift it. He notes more organizations will deploy agents directly into their clusters, which will introduce new challenges for platform teams. Managing these agent workloads necessitates strict identity and authorization rules. Platform engineers must ensure that only authorized entities can instruct an agent, making API governance through systems like MCP servers essential. The database becomes the brain. Okay, we're still on the same article. Yes, we are. The database becomes the brain. The data layer is evolving to support these active workloads. The traditional separation between storage and compute is becoming a bottleneck for real-time intelligence. That's true. Nadim Ashka doesn't take a genius. The technology officer at SingleStore argues that we are heading towards a unified intelligence planes that fuse data and compute. In 2026, the database becomes the brain of the enterprise, reasoning directly on live data, generating insights, and orchestrating intelligent agents without external pipelines. I don't know how effective that will be, and they will probably cost more than it's worth. I think. There's so much data being generated in real time that if you just have those agents running like 24/7 on the clock to get insights from data, it will be hell. I don't think it's worth as much as people want us to believe. Honestly, this consolidation drives efficiency. Standalone vector databases arguably a temporary fix. Yeah, there isn't vector data. Likely to be absorbed into broader platforms. Ashgard predicts vector capabilities will be absorbed into a unified database alongside full text, JSON, and time series function, causing the market for standalone AI infrastructure to contract. So they're predicting there's going to be like a unified solution for this. Possible. I mean, who am I to say no? What do I know about that? It's possible. I think so. I think it could happen. A possibility. Mobile attack surface. While backend systems consolidate, the attack surface on the edge is expanding as AI models move on device to reduce latency and improve privacy. They introduce unique local risks. Sean Cooney, CPTO of Promon, highlights prompt injection as a primary threat here. In 2026, prompt injection will become one of the fastest growing threats to mobile app security. In apps where the model has authority over workflows or UI actions, malicious phrases in user input, an API response, or a third-party source could steer behavior and weaken guardrails. I can't say I disagree. This is already something that's happening even in 2025. So something to watch out for people who mainly rely on these tools. Because at the end of the day, it only takes one trip to a bad website. Like these AI agents that are able to collect information from the web and then use that in their response. Nothing says that if they visit a malicious website that they would grab that information probably and pass it along. So you can imagine if you're building something and then the prompt injection could happen just by visiting a website that has this. A case for this, I don't think I've heard of any happening, but it's something that could happen. Let's just remember, by 2026, organizations will increasingly adopt AI-powered PCs that process generative AI locally on the endpoint instead of relying on cloud-based solutions. I don't think so. This aligns with IT. I don't think so, because currently, like, hardware for AI is so limited. Even things like RAM, just RAM, Like did you guys hear the news about like a Micron, which produces I think Crucial memory, those DDR5 RAM memory sticks. They're gonna stop selling them through Crucial, which is what their consumer facing wing of the operation. Let's just put it like that. So it's gonna stop selling to consumers because of what? Because they want to sell more to enterprise. So big company, big tech. So probably these AI companies, because they do need also like the VRAM, which is a different type of memory, but like they would rather focus on that than focus on the consumer side of things. So I think like having like these computers that run in office for companies that don't want like a privacy, so that they don't use the cloud-based AI solutions. I don't think that's happening. I don't think it's happening. Guess what? Why do you think like these AI companies are building like data, like massive data processing plants, like AI data processing plants? Why do you think they're doing that? Partially to build their models, but also like for those models to run on. Because when they run on their own compute, it saves them money from having to contract each other. And if they're using each other, guess what? They also want you to use them. So this AI company wants you to use their services, which is cloud-based, so that they can make money. So I don't think the local AI thing is something that's coming anytime soon. Plus, like the consumer-friendly hardware doesn't exist at this point. Even for like the enterprise, I don't think a company is gonna be buying like NVIDIA GPUs to put in their systems, unless they get if it's leasing them. Maybe they buy a few servers, they lease them, which is the same as doing cloud. That's what you do. So this, I don't agree. I don't think this is happening. I could be wrong. The financial reckoning of AI for software development. Technical integration is colliding with financial discipline. The growth at all costs mentality regarding cloud consumption is fading. Without precise controls, the automated nature of AI scaling can destroy budgets. Harness forecast severe financial penalties for the unprepared. Those lacking visibility into how AI workloads consume resources will be hit with overspends of up to 50%, with cloud often representing the second largest operational expense after salaries. Companies cannot afford to treat these as a variable cost. And then this is where like FinOps comes in. Yes, some companies are gonna use FinOps, which is to optimize their spending for the resources. I see that happening. It's already started to happen. Is it something I think a lot of companies are gonna be doing? Maybe the AI focused companies, I would say, because like there was a boom. Prices were good enough for everybody to make their own AI startup. But at this point in time, I think everything is just gonna start contracting. The market is gonna start to contract in 2026, I think. So FinOps becoming a vital part of the operation for these companies that sell AI products. I can see that happening, like these companies that build on top of ChatGPT or like any other models. They're gonna start to use FinOps to kind of optimize, because of the market is contracting, means prices are gonna go up, innovation is gonna stall a little bit. So yeah, go figure. This one I believe is gonna happen. Why technology leaders don't see a competitive benefit to the platform? They are likely to start relocating platform team members to other areas. Fenton cautions teams must demonstrate tangible value, so avoiding stranded to avoid being stranded on platforms that cannot adapt to new requirements. AI governance and security becomes core software development pillars. Finally, the regulatory landscape is catching up. In 2026, we will see compliance evolving from a checklist into a central engineering pillar. Notes the complexity of incoming frameworks, including the EU AI Act and the US regional regulations. In 2026, compliance and security will shift from background concerns to central pillars of AI adoption, he says. This necessitates a change in how security is managed. The fragmented toolchain approach is no longer tenable. I agree with that. Gregor Stewart, Chief AI Officer at SentinelOne, believes the smorgasbord of acronyms in security strategy is collapsing. Identity management, endpoint protection, UEBA, and CTEM are all essentially the same machinery solving slightly different problems. The goal is to unify these systems to allow for human accountability at scale. Stewart describes finding a Goldilocks spot where AI aggregates tasks for a single human decision. Humans then make one accountable, auditable policy decision rather than hundreds to thousands of potentially inconsistent individual choices, he explains. Okay. I see. Sounds good, but I don't know how that will happen in practice. Audit your supply chain. Do not assume AI-generated code is secure. Implement rigorous scanning for vulnerabilities, and the scanning is going to be done by AI. Nice. And licensing issues in all machine-suggested logic. Prepare for agents. Kubernetes strategies must evolve to handle agentic workloads. Investigate, identify, management for non-human actors now. Implement FinOps if you can. Sorry about that. If you cannot view your AI cloud costs in real time, you are already overspending. Automate cost controls before scaling to production models. Scaling production models. Harden the edge. If deploying local AI models on mobile, assume the device is compromised. Implement runtime protection that does not rely on cloud filtering. The path to 2026 is defined by consolidation and discipline. The organizations that succeed will be those that stop treating AI as a magic solution for software development and start treating it as a rigorous engineering discipline. But how can it be treated as such? That's the problem. That's the big question that everybody asks themselves, because it's not clear. But I do agree with some of the points that the author is making. I think these are gonna be things that are very possible to happen, and will generally improve what this looks like for the future. But for me, in my own prediction, I think it's just gonna start to slow down. 2026 is just the year. Sorry about that. Sorry about the sound. 2026 is just the year of slowdown in whatever has been happening in AI. The slowdown has already started, so it's kind of maturing. So at the start, everything was just going very fast, and then there was just an improvement, and the improvements were quantifiable and observable. But even as of now, in late 2025, as we finish the year, you can see the slowdown has already started. We haven't seen anything that blows our mind in a long time, so I think it will just be something similar happening in 2026, and even worse. So it will start to cool down. This is what I think is gonna happen. It's gonna cool down. The prices are gonna go up, and the struggle for getting the hardware to run this, like consumer grade hardware that could be used for AI, they're going to even be more expensive because these tech companies are gonna be fighting for it. So yeah, what do you think is gonna happen in 2026? Are you excited about the prospects of what AI is gonna be able to do for developments, for software developers, or are you scared? Do you think it's just a nothing burger, or what do you think? Let me know below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, support the channel. We're getting there. Yeah. So until next time, keep coding.